Welcome back to the Sports Den podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Hooker here, and today's episode will be my Week 5 predictions of college football. So let's get straight into it. We have some heavy hitting matchups, some matchups that have major implications, and we're starting off with Utah versus Oregon State. Utah still no Cam Rising, coming off a torn ACL injury, and Oregon State coming off a devastating loss against Washington State with having a comeback bid late in the game, but a little too much too late. So this is gonna ride a lot for the Pac-12 race, for the Pac-12 crown. I think that if Cam Rising plays, I think that Utah has a better chance of winning. I know that Oregon State will come out for vengeance because what they did last week was start off really slow against a high octane offense, but both teams are similar where they want to grind and pound, they want to be physical on the defensive end and make sure nothing gets thrown over the top. So, with that being said, I think that Utah will win. I think that Utah takes the W and sneaks one out and beats Oregon State. The following game, USC versus Colorado. It's going to be like a red carpet in Boulder for a 10 o'clock game. Let me repeat myself. It will be a red carpet event in Boulder, Colorado for a 10 o'clock game Mountain Time. I think this game fits Colorado better than the game last week because USC doesn't have a defense truly. 2, both teams want to score and they want to score fast, so there'll be more opportunities for Colorado to get points on the board. And I think that Shedeur will have a bounce back game. I think that he can go tit for tat with Caleb Williams, but overall, in the end, I think that USC will win. I think USC will win a game 42-27 or 42-31. A game like that, I can see it happen where Colorado, they start off fast, they start off good, and then later on, the depth might become a problem. And having no Travis Hunter hurts because there's so many weapons out on the outside for USC. I think that him not being out there will play a role. So USC will take this one. The next game, Florida versus Kentucky. This is a very interesting matchup because for the past couple of years, Kentucky has been taking the crown. But this year, Florida has found their identity with if we can run the ball and run it efficiently, it'll take a whole bunch off of our quarterback, Graham Mertz. And when he doesn't have a lot of pressure, he makes those completions and he moves the ball down the field and he makes timely decisions and timely throws. And I think that Kentucky, they have the talent all over the field on the defense. And then for the offense, having the quarterback, Devin Leary, transfer in and not playing up to the expectations that Kentucky fans want him to play at. I think that this is a game to prove it, to show that, hey, I was worth the get in the transfer portal. I was worth the hype. And now this is first true test of, hey, like, this is my value, and we're going to stick to it. So I think that Kentucky will win. I think Kentucky will win a very close physical battle, a 27-24 type of game, or even a 24-20 type of game, to where both teams struggle, but they find a little rhythm, and then they have to regain that rhythm in the second half. And I think that Kentucky will do a better job. So give me the Wildcats. The next game will be Georgia versus Auburn. Auburn hasn't had a good season, but they made improvements to where you can see the culture being set by Hugh Freeze. You can see a lot of things that Auburn did last year. Those bad habits have been trimmed down. to this year, and I think that Auburn will keep it close because of the atmosphere in Jordan Hare. There's something always goes left for Georgia and Jordan Hare, but I think this year we will see a little struggle from Carson Beck because this is his first road test. I think that there will be a couple mental mistakes. I think having Lad McConkey back just bolsters your weapons on the outside. So now, with him being back, I expect Georgia to win and win by at least 2 touchdowns and a field goal. So I think that Georgia will win by at least 17 points, but it'll be a tough 17 points to where Georgia will have to keep going on their momentum from last week's second half into this week's first half. But that's a tough task because Auburn is very talented. They always have a talented defensive line, and they always have a talented linebacker group. So I want to see how Georgia will fare against the crowd noise. I want to see how Georgia plays a full game, not just 3 quarters, not just 3.5 or just 2. I want to see Georgia play a complete game. I think that Auburn doesn't have the capabilities of keeping up with Georgia right now. But give Auburn some time. This will become back a rivalry. And I think that it'll be still one of the best rivalries in college football. The next game will be Kansas versus Texas. This game showed me a lot about Texas because this is Texas' second test of facing a dual threat quarterback with Jalen Williams at the helm for Kansas. I think that this game will be extremely tough for Jalen Daniels, but it's a high risk, high reward game for him to where if he performs like he knows he can from last year, playing at such high level, I think that this game will mean a lot because the game is in Austin. So this tells me that if Jalen Daniels, comes in and he plays and he performs, Kansas has a shot at winning this game. No doubt about it. Because they have the blueprint. If we can run the ball, slow down the clock for Texas, make sure Texas doesn't get the ball at times, they have a shot at winning. But Texas is too talented of a team to let this one slip away because Texas knows that win against Alabama is huge for their playoff resume. And I think that if they can continue to build on their playoff resume, continue to find that consistency, continue to find their successes at the end of the season, and ace all of their tests, this is their first test. And I think that whatever they do from this game moving forward will tell me a lot about Texas because last week they started off slow. So this week I want to see them start out fast and continue to be that dynamite on the offensive end. So give me Texas in a 42-34 game. I think that Kansas will keep it close throughout the game, but Texas just a little too much at the end. The next game will be LSU versus Ole Miss. One team coming off a crucial win and one team coming off a loss that hurt them against a very competitive team. I think that LSU will win solely on the fact because I think that their linebackers and their defensive line will do a great job at pressuring Jackson Dart into a mistake to where LSU cornerbacks will see that mistake, go get the ball, and get an extra possession for their offense. And one thing about LSU offense is that they can put points on the board, and they can put points on the board in a hurry. So when they get those things done and they can complete those things off their checklist, I think that LSU will win. I think LSU wins by at least 14 points. The next game, Notre Dame versus Duke. This game is really, really interesting to me because this is Riley Leonard, year 2 at Duke. This is Sam Hartman's only year at Notre Dame. But this game has a lot of things riding into it. One, Duke showing that they're a contender, not a pretender in the college football world. This game right here will show me if they are for real. Because Riley Leonard did what he did against Clemson. And then now he has another huge test with Notre Dame. And I think that if Riley Leonard performs and runs the ball well against a Notre Dame team, I think Duke has a chance. But with that being said, Notre Dame came off a massive, massive loss against Ohio State, where it was just a loss based on self-inflicted wounds. So now that Notre Dame has a chance to really put themselves back into the picture of, hey, like, that loss, that was on the coaching, that was on the players, but we regrouped, we got everything situated, and now we're still going to be a playoff team that can be talked about at the middle of December, at the end of the season. So I think that Notre Dame will win. I think Notre Dame wins by 10, a 31-21 game. I think that Notre Dame wins the game, and I think that they'll get back in the national media good graces. But it'll be a tough one. South Carolina versus Tennessee. South Carolina is traveling to Tennessee, so Rocky Top will be in full effect. Tennessee is deciding to wear all black uniforms. So what I'm feeling is Tennessee's like, we gotta find ourselves again to where we can show that yes, we had a rough start, but we're gonna end the season out strong. But South Carolina, they've been on a little roll with Xavier Legette, Spencer Rattler, because what I'm feeling in my heart is a South Carolina win. Because the way South Carolina defense played against Georgia in that first half, no one expected it. No one expected it at all. So if I can sit here and say, if South Carolina can do that against Georgia, why can't they do that against Tennessee? So now I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking to myself, if South Carolina just does it consistently throughout the whole game, throughout the 4 quarters, why not South Carolina? That's why I'm choosing the Gamecocks. The Gamecocks will beat Tennessee. I think that it'll be a very, very heartbreaking loss. I'll say a 34-31 type of game. And I think that Spencer Rattler shows why he's one of the best quarterbacks in the nation this game. Going to a hostile environment, blocking out all the noise, and propelling his way to victory. So, give me the Gamecocks. I think the Gamecocks will get that win. And, this Saturday will be full of a lot of tests, mentally and physically, because players are a little worn down. They're getting a little tired before their first bye. So, kids are banged up. I want to see them persevere and have that physical toughness and mental toughness to go through these these tests to which if they win, their season is impacted in a good way. But if they lose, their season is impacted in a negative way. And now the bad light is on them. So I want to see each team go through their test and ace it. But that's not the case for everyone. So, as you know, we'll see you on Saturday. And that's a wrap for this episode. I'm your host, Jonathan Hooker, signing out. Peace.